When our enemies tell us exactly who they are and what they're doing, they also engage in projection, which is accusing us, whether it's Donald Trump or the J6 protesters or you and me, accusing all of us of what they themselves are guilty of. So when you want to know what they're up to, just look at what they're accusing our side of. Case in point, those who are shrieking the loudest about threats to democracy, and here they mean Donald Trump, but they also mean America first. They mean you and me. Those who are shrieking the loudest about threats to democracy are the actual threats to democracy. You see how that works? They always tell us. So now I think, unfortunately, and I just mentioned the Civil War. I'm not saying that we are going into armed conflict, okay? I don't think that is likely because I think we're in a different period of time. But I do think that we are getting dangerously close to a grave confrontation about the future of America and the nature of this country and what it is and what it should be. That's why when we're going into 2024, my thinking on this, and we talk a lot about the different candidates and the fact that voting is only a couple of weeks away, but 2024 to me looks like less a contest between two candidates, Trump and Biden, Trump and Michelle Obama, Trump and Gavin Newsom, who knows? But it looks less of a contest between two candidates and more of an election about two groups of forces. The force that wants to destroy America and is close to actually doing it, and the force that wants to save America, which is you and me. When you look at the election in that framing, you'll actually see it's quite helpful to our side because it's less about the personalities. And I mean, I love President Trump. I consider him a friend. I cannot wait to vote for him again. But, a lot of people have issues with his personality, the mean tweets. I think it's all absurd. But that it is a real issue for a lot of people who may have loved his policies and saw America thriving, but have a little bit of an issue with him. This kind of framing actually helps us because it kind of strips away from the candidate's personality and takes us into a much more existential kind of question. It even elevates the election really out of policy, out of the economy and the border and law and order and foreign policy, bringing peace to the world. All of those things President Trump is going to run on, of course. But when we frame it in a much bigger picture and say, guys, this is an election between literal national life and death, then it takes it up to the next level. And then it becomes a question of choose your fighter. Do you want Donald Trump, who delivered 4 years of peace and prosperity, or do you want the demented, corrupt hack, or somebody else that the Democrats are going to choose to finish taking America off the cliff? When you frame the election that way, then I think it brings a much more profound sense to what we are all going to do next year in terms of this, in terms of voting and the campaign. This is all by way of framing, again, the development that we saw this week with the Colorado Supreme Court and 4 unelected Democrat judges who, again, look exactly like you'd think they'd look, just like that crazy judge in New York City. I mean, all of these people are out of central casting from Marxists. Right? Remember the movie Reds, Warren Beatty's famous movie about the communism? And he really, Warren Beatty, a legend and absolutely gorgeous and handsome. And he had Diane Keaton. He had all of these gorgeous women in the movie, and all the Marxist revolutionaries were beautiful. In the real world, it doesn't work that way. Marxist revolutionaries look like the judge in New York and the 4 Democrats on the Colorado Supreme Court. What we saw here this week, guys, is exactly what I'm laying out. And they actually, like I said, did us a huge favor because anytime the Marxists do something outrageous and unconstitutional and illegal like this, they do us a big favor because it puts their revolution into bold relief. Now what we have here is a legal coup, And I think a lot of voters now see it for what it is, not just what Colorado did, but Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, Joe Biden, what they are all doing to Donald Trump. These are legal coups. And in the state of Colorado now, you don't just have voter disenfranchisement, you have voter elimination. Think about this, guys. You know how the left is always talking about voter disenfranchisement. And we've seen that in Atlanta. Remember with the Georgia voting, and the left alighted on the state of Georgia, and they said, oh, Major League Baseball should not have the All-Star game here because Georgia just passed this voter integrity law that's going to disenfranchise African Americans and so many others, and people in poverty. They won't be able to get an ID. They won't be able to vote. So they're all for fighting voter disenfranchisement, when they perceive or they're selling it on the left. But when they're disenfranchising voters on the right, Trump voters, not only do they want that, they're going to turn the Constitution upside down to get it. They want you not voting. They want America First destroyed. They want you eliminated from the scene. Okay, so obviously, this is what they're doing here, and this is what this is all about. Guys, Americans are not going to tolerate being told that they cannot have a voice in next year's elections. They are simply not going to stand for being told you can vote for this person, but not for that person. And the long arm of the state Supreme Court is going to tell you that you can't vote for whom you want. It's completely outrageous, and the voters are not going to stand for it. There are other states where Supreme Courts have overruled this kind of movement based on the 14th Amendment. Donald Trump is an insurrectionist, therefore he needs to be barred because the 14th Amendment says so. First of all, he was never accused of insurrection except by lunatics like Liz Cheney. He was never charged with insurrection and certainly never convicted of it. When Jack Smith and the J6 committee, that farce, when they had the chance, they didn't do it because they know that it's not true and the 14th Amendment does not apply. Still, these forces on the left, again, telling us exactly who they are, what they're doing, they keep at it. They keep going. So other states have thrown this attempt out. This attempt is being funded by George Soros and his organizations. They never stop. And when they get a loss, unlike our side, we get a loss and we're like, oh, okay. Well, tomorrow's another day. Have a nice day. And we move on. The left never moves on. The left keeps coming at it. So again, they keep coming back to Supreme Courts in these states that have already thrown this out because they are absolutely relentless. They never stop. You know what, guys? They are like Alex Forrest, the Glenn Close character in Fatal Attraction. They are Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, where you think that you've stabbed you through the heart in the bathtub, and you go to walk away, and then boom, they're back right up in your face trying to get you again. This is the left. They never stop. So Colorado, this Supreme Court doesn't care if this is going to get thrown out to at the U.S. Supreme Court, which it likely will, or at least we hope it will. That court is also hanging by a thread. So we hope and pray that the Supreme Court will step up here, not just on this, but on a whole range of other issues coming up to them. And when we come back, I want to hit a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about the Supreme Court because, guys, the Supreme Court hates the political cases, hates it. So we're going to talk about that and a very important friend of the court brief filed by a former U.S. Attorney General that could throw a monkey wrench in the entire thing. Sit tight. We all struggle with eating right, especially this time of year, right? I mean, forget about the fruits and the veggies. It's all cookies and cakes. Well, lucky for us, we've got Balance of Nature. And what better way to get all of your fruits and veggies plus fiber than with Balance of Nature? Balance of Nature fruits and veggies are made from fresh, whole produce, and their produce is powdered after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. And their Balance of Nature fiber and spice is a proprietary blend of fiber and 12 spices for overall and digestive health. So join everybody who is on the Balance of Nature train. I've taken it. It is excellent. Start your journey to better health right now. Call them at 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code America. Again, that's balanceofnature.com or call them at 800-2468-751 and get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code America.